Folks, we're live with the creator himself of the Otherverse. What's up, man?
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Sam, the creator of Otherverse trading card game. Honored to be here with Alex, Nostalgianomics. Alex, thank you so much for having me on today.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think it's super interesting for me, but I think a lot of people have the same interest. Like, we see these gigantic games like Magic and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And, you just see these big, giant corporations running these things. And it's interesting to hear someone that's literally on the ground floor, started this from the ground up, and just hear what actually goes into producing and running these things, keeping it a business while also keeping it collectible for the players and rare enough to actually, make sure it maintains value, the print runs. Like, I'm just interested to hear everything you have to say. So, I mean, dude, why don't we just start out? Like, tell us a little about yourself, your story, and how this Otherverse world came to be.
So let's go back to 2020, 2021. Those are great questions. And I want to take it back to the start, like you said, where we were all, pretty much forced to stay inside. Pokemon was going crazy, as we all remember, around 2021. And it was around that time that I said, I was already in the trading card space. I already had some friends, some connections. So I said, maybe I can start my own trading card game. I was active on Instagram, in the Instagram world, and I started taking my regular Instagram account. I started posting some images of the trading cards there. And immediately there was a reaction where my friend said, do this, go for it. We'll all support you. So this is really grassroots. It really is. It really is.
So were you
from the bottom? It's starting with the community. It's starting with the people, and it's starting from me. I was one person back then running this business. We got the LLC, the trademark, the copyright, the website, all the social media platforms for Otherverse, and I could go into how the creative side started the story, but also my background was mostly in marketing and some creative works as well. So that had already kind of lent its hand to enabling me to starting Otherverse with marketing, which in my opinion is one of the number one points to starting any business, is getting it out there and being able to market it to the larger audience, because nobody knows who you are when you start.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I can keep talking, but
keep going. So as far as like you said, you started posting the cards. Were you the one making all the art at this time, or did you have artists?
So yeah, the way that I am is I work very fast. I work very quickly. When I have my mind on set on something, I get it done. So immediately I started. I actually hadn't ever hired artists before. I had never been an art director. But really, whatever position I need to put myself in to be successful, I do. So I immediately started hiring some artists online. And then after I hired one artist, two artists, I'm not going to lie to you, I was actually uncomfortable hiring artists, spending money on artwork, because you don't really know, what are you spending the money on? The artwork, you don't really know how that's going to translate into business. You don't know, are people going to buy the boxes? Are they going to buy the cards? Are they going to buy the set? So I spent roughly around $30,000 prior to actually, doing much of anything. I'd been doing artwork. I had spent it on some promotional cards, some conventions. So I had already put a fair amount of money into Otherverse, into the business, before we even before we even started really marketing online and producing our first set, which is like, it's not something people necessarily would think about, is, you know, but you really do need to put money into the business before you can really do anything with the, you know, if there's no money, you don't have any savings, it's going to be tough to start a business, in my opinion. But I didn't take out any loans or anything. So back to the creative part, how did it start? I said, okay, trading cards are doing great right now. This is the time. Today is the time to start. You know, if you're gonna shoot for it, you're gonna do it now. You're in your 20s. This is your only chance. You're gonna have a kid soon. You're gonna be settling down. There's no way the wife is gonna allow you to start a trading card game. Then you got to do it now. And that's what I did. I just said, all right, we're doing it now. We're starting now. So how did the art come out? How did we start thinking about these characters? That's another great question. I really like dragons, magical women, mages, warriors. And there's an actual story about Otherverse. A main character, Kyo, his the evil sister, Death. And one is fighting to save the world, and one is fighting to destroy the world. Death versus Kyo. So this story of these two twins, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how this story came into my mind. I was, you know, I'm a creative person. I was in the office thinking, listening to some music, dancing around, actually. I do a little dancing and listening to music to get the energies flowing, the creative energies. And then kind of the story just popped into my head like that. We are planning on coming out with an anime next year as well, which goes through the full first arc of Otherverse. That there's love, there's hate, there's war, there's happiness, there's sadness. And it's an anime. So there's magic, there's dragons, there's fighting with swords, and really, I feel the anime will help propel Otherverse to the next level. But we actually have some pretty different marketing techniques than other businesses, other games. When it comes to marketing, they actually jump.
So you decided what? You decided to release it. You released it on Kickstarter, right?
Yes. So before that release, I did a few promos that I sold directly offline or online. I sold directly from the Instagram. We did a few promo sets. I went to some conventions even before. So this is kind of using my own money, you know, the own funds that I had been saving. And I just want to touch on, you know, this is a you know, an investing channel. This is an economics market. You know, this is an economics channel. How important it is to have savings, really. You know, we often might say, oh, why do you need that much savings? You know, everything's going fine. I have work the next day, you know, but all of a sudden there arises an opportunity that you want to use your money. And if you don't have any money, if you don't have any savings to use it, then you can't jump on that opportunity. So that's why I want to touch a little on savings, how important they are to have them. But yes, we did it on Kickstarter. I did an initial sample run on Kickstarter, which pretty much I posted this Kickstarter overnight when my I had about 1,000 followers on Instagram. We're still small, but we have about 14,000 followers now on Instagram. Back then we had 1,000. This was 4 years ago. 3.5, 4 years ago. So I posted a sample. These are what the samples look like, actually. Can you see that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I have.
Yeah.
I still have the card I got from you at the New Jersey.
Yes. That was awesome. That was awesome, Alex. It was awesome meeting you randomly at a table. You know, I don't mean to go out too off tangent from talking about the Kickstarter. We'll jump back to that, but quickly, I was walking around. You know, I said, okay, it's early in the morning Sunday. I can leave the booth for an hour or so. Nothing is happening in the first hour. I was just going around the different booths, saying hi to some friends like Pack Battle, the Bulba Store, a few others. And I ended up hearing your voice, I think, right next to me at a random booth. I was looking at some cards. You were looking at some cards. And I recognized your voice immediately. I turned to my right, and there you were. And so I said, then again, I said, this is my opportunity to get to know Alex. I watch all your videos. You know, I'm in your live streams talking sometimes as well. So I said, this is my opportunity. And, you know, I'm happy that I was able to get you a booster box and also get you a slabbed card. Not to go again too off topic, but would we want to give, I don't know how many people are in the live stream right now. Would we want to give away a booster box to your community, either directly to the live stream today, or you know, we could do it off your Instagram or YouTube. I'll mail it out as well. You know, just let me know who wins. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Dude, hey, that's all up to you. I mean, I think a lot of people would be happy to get a booster box.
I mean, it would be my honor. These were limited to 2,500 booster boxes. This is our first edition set 1 print run. Think base set. And we're actually not reprinting base set. Right now, there seems to be a good amount of product in the market for our niche community that this is a good print run size, 2,500. Set 2 is actually smaller. Set 2 is actually only 1,000 booster boxes. It's really more, it's a smaller set. The artwork is insane. There's gold foil texture, but there are no serialized cards in set 2. That's what's keeping set 1 special, the serialized cards. Alex, I believe you have a serialized out of 25 Natasha PSA 10.
Yes, I do.
So yeah, this is, what was that, Alex?
Yeah, and it's got the artist signature on it.
With the artist signature, yeah. So this set, there will be artist signatures, 3 artist signatures with gold foiling and texture, holographic in the actual set that you're going to be able to pull in set 2. So, yeah, I would love to do a giveaway. That'd be awesome. I would love to do a giveaway. Whatever way you think is best, we'll do that. I don't know how many people are in the live stream. The phone is actually for the other.
Yeah, it's been like 30 or 40 right now, but maybe we wait till later. Usually by the time it goes on, more and more join. So we'll wait till later and see how many people are, and then but let me ask you this. So you started out, you had it all together, you decided to start making it. I know we talked about this on my other video or in person. I don't remember if it made the video, but getting down to where literally you had the idea, you decided to go forward with it, and you decided basically to just do everything yourself. Like, tell that story about like finding the warehouse and the machines and just like literally building this from the ground up.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, Alex. I was insane. I was crazy that to want to do it all myself. I did it all myself. We did print it all myself, but it was a crazy experience, and it was very difficult. I would not suggest anybody to do it this way I did it. Am I happy I did it the way I did it? And what do I mean by this? I ended up buying all the machines, renting a warehouse, setting up the machines. I had help. I had employees, yes. Impossible to do it on your own. There's massive machines, huge machines, metal, heavy metal that, I started working out more recently this year. Back then, I was very, very scrawny. I could not lift a single thing in that warehouse. I had a lot of help from employees, but the cutting machines, coating machines, packing machines, there's so many machines that you wouldn't even realize. And then what made me really want to do it myself is I said, this is going to be special if it's made in the United States of America. If it's made in the United States, that is going to make it special. It's going to make it feel non-commercialized. It's going to make it feel real. And that's what I wanted from this first set, is a real grassroots feel. Because down the line, as we get bigger, the set runs will get bigger. It might not feel, it will still feel special, but it might not it might not have my direct touch to the product as closely. These products, I even packaged the packs, cut the cards, packaged the boxes, wrapped them, oftentimes myself. I was in the warehouse every single day for the first set run. I even slept in the warehouse some nights, which was crazy. It was cold. It was freezing on the warehouse floor, but it had to be done. You know, what has to be done has to be done to make the best product you can make. So yeah, why did I do that? Was because I felt it would be special. It would be different, and it was my once in a lifetime opportunity to do it. Was that to go live in a warehouse, go experience a new life, a difficult life. Changed me, but changed me for the better. But now I'm back actually in New York, which I'm happy to be, and I'm back behind the computer doing the marketing and, you know, engaging with the community, getting ready for set number 2 right now. So I do want to also say we had our most viral video this month with 20 million views on Instagram. So really, marketing and Instagram is where I'm best at. And when I do focus on that, it does really well. So yeah, 20 million views this month on one video was awesome. It's reached almost 9-10 million people now on Instagram. So that's been very helpful. And that actually video showed off the production in the warehouse. So as difficult as it was, in my opinion, it paid off just from having these videos. Not to talk too much, but one very large social media YouTuber, Instagrammer, influencer reached out to us after seeing this video. After seeing the video, they reached out and they said, we want to do an entire documentary about Otherverse. We want to film Otherverse. We want to get the entire story about Otherverse, and we want to promote Otherverse. Now, why would they do this? Is because most of their content is about kind of finding new technologies, new businesses, and kind of making a documentary, an episode or a series on that. And that's how they get their content. So it's really a win-win for both. They have their YouTube account has 16 million followers. Their Instagram has 15 million. And combined with Facebook and TikTok, they have over 100 million followers, which is insane to me. I'm not going to name drop them right now. I'll wait until the video actually comes out. But I think that video is coming out later this year. That could push a ton of traffic to Otherverse. They have a reach of over 100 million. So if the video that comes out gets, even 1 million views on YouTube, it's huge. It's huge. So for set 3, 4, 5, Alex, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's gigantic, man. That's gonna be a huge deal. It could be hard to even manage when all that comes in. Like, speaking of managing, you talked about the print run from set 1 to set 2. So what goes into all that planning and that decision making when you're thinking about print run sizes?
That's a great question. I think I got it. It was a little choppy on the internet. Your question was, what goes into my thought process when deciding what the print run for a set should be?
Yes.
So that's a great question. So let's start with set number 1. I did a print run of 2,500 booster boxes. My thought with 2,500 booster boxes, I actually use other market data to come up with where we're going to print. So I use other trading card games print runs to gauge what would be an appropriate print run. There's a lot of trading card games out there, One Piece, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, Flesh and Blood. So and there's tons more. Final Fantasy. So I saw where these other games were printing at, how many booster boxes they were printing, and I also took into account the secondary market prices of the booster boxes. So if a game is printing 10,000 and nothing is selling on the secondary, that's not going to be a good print run. If another game is printing 3,000-4,000 and pretty much everything is selling out, that'll be better. That'll be better around there. And so I had already also gauged how big is the Otherverse community, how many people are into Otherverse, how many people want to collect Otherverse, and I have to say I'm blown away by how many people are in the community, and I'm also extremely appreciative. So we got to
Hold on,
2,500
Sam.
booster boxes.
Sam, let me stop you right there. Are you saying that you had access to know like how much these other games were printing?
So not for all games, but I have a lot of connections in the industry. You know, not to you know say anything special about me, but over the years I've made some friends from different trading card games to the grading companies, BGS, PSA, to some of the biggest collectors in the industry, in the community. So from there, I was able to kind of get you know, wind of how many booster boxes a few of these other games are printing for each of their print runs. That enabled me to come up with a appropriate print run size for our first set. Knowing how much the other games are printing, where kind of the trading card market is at. I always do my best to keep my fingers on the pulse of the market, both the secondary market as well as the primary market direct to customers. So yeah, that was with set one. Set two has a print run of only 1,000 booster boxes. I'm doing this intentionally. I'm lowering the print run quite intentionally because do I believe that 1,000 booster boxes will sell out? Also selling them for $39 a booster box. The answer is yes. We've actually already pretty much sold out the booster boxes. We're not doing pre-orders, but we have distributors in France, Europe, and Canada as well. That those are our distributors in Europe and Canada that they already have their print runs in, their order allocations in. So set two is looking good at 1,000. I could have probably done 2,000 or 3,000, knock on wood, and it would have also have sold out at $39 a booster box. Intentionally, we're keeping it low to kind of see again, you know, where is the community at? Where is the market at? Are these booster boxes going to be devoured in the first 10 seconds of release and relisted on eBay for 2 to 3 times the price? You know, it could be. So we're waiting to see. And then we're coming out with set 3 at the end of this year. So that will be a larger print run of around 2,000, maybe 3,000, though unlikely. Probably 2,000 booster boxes. So set 2 is kind of testing the waters for set 3. I don't know if that accurately answered your question. But.
Yeah, and then you know we talked a little bit about it, but like we said the first one was on Kickstarter, but how are people able to buy your product now? Is it just through your site? You said you had some people who put in orders, so I guess you're selling to some LGS stores as well.
Yes. So set 1 was on Kickstarter. We sold out booster boxes, and we had some collector boxes as well. We ended up selling out 2,500 booster boxes and also the collector box product as well. Set 2, yes, it will be directly available on our website. We're going to be having lots of announcements on our Instagram, as well as some live streams building up to the actual drop date. We're waiting right now for all the product to be finished and be shipped here to New York, where we'll be mailing it out from. We're shipping it out from New York. Our local game stores and our distributors in Canada have already put in their orders, as well as in Europe, and our local game stores here in the United States have already put in their orders. So only game stores and distributors are able to put in orders right now. No other pre-orders. So of the 1,000 booster boxes, 600 of those have already been accounted for, leaving only 400 booster boxes for the United States, community, which in my opinion is too low of a, too not enough. But right now we're already in production. We're already printed. We're done. So there's no way to change the print numbers. I can't bring it up right now. So, and we're not planning on reprinting set 1 or set 2. Ideally, our print numbers are really spot on that we don't need to reprint anything. I know for the players, they might like reprints for cheaper cards, but at such an early stage for a game, the player base is small. And so it will take time for the player base to grow. We have local game stores running tournaments. We have a larger tournament at the end of this year. But right now we're thinking more about our collectors, long-term investments. Again, these are not investing. Trading cards are not necessarily meant for investments. They're not meant to make money. But as it happens, they do prove to be, solid investment vehicles for some people over the long-term period of 5 to 10 to 20 years. So that's pretty much that. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about grading the cards. So obviously you had to go through some kind of process with PSA Beckett for them to, I guess 1, accept the cards as gradable, 2, I guess know a little bit about the cards, know if they're authentic or not, whatever. I mean, just take us through that process of meeting with them and getting them, accepted to be PSA Beckett gradable.
Okay. So that's a really great question. And arguably one of the hardest, but also a huge milestone for us to hit, getting not a lot of people are making games. Well, there are a lot of games coming out, but, it's not necessarily, I would say, easy to just start up. So getting all the way to PSA, grading my trading card was like a huge milestone. And luckily, I had a lot of connections already in the industry. A lot of Pokemon collectors, Dragon Ball, Weiss. One Piece wasn't out at the time. Some Yu-Gi-Oh, but not a lot of Magic guys. They had the connections actually already to PSA and to BGS. I didn't. They fell in love with Otherverse. They fell in love with, the energy that was going on, the cards, the collectibility. Our sample run, I want to say, all the cards are limited out of 100, and the secret rare versions are out of 18. So everybody knows these. Everybody knows the print numbers. It's on our website. So this high-end collectibility already brought in a lot of people. They had connections to PSA. They had connections to BGS. And they said, before set 1 even comes out, they said, you guys need to grade this game. So they didn't say you guys need to grade this game. They said, hey, here's Otherverse, go check it out. I took over from there. I talked to them. And, I love talking to people. I love people. So I ended up, doing my thing. And we got to be graded by PSA and BGS before set 1 even came out, which is actually unheard of. There's no game that before the set even releases, it's being graded. God bless. I'm so appreciative. They did it for the sample set. So that's kind of where it started. And then I had been going to so many collector cons. Alex, we met at a collector con. Last year and the year before, I went to as many as I could, probably 5 each year. And over there at the collector cons, I ended up meeting with the PSA staff, the BGS staff, also the CGC staff, but we don't really grade with, we do grade with CGC, but not a lot of my community grades with CGC. So mostly PSA, BGS, and at the conventions is where I actually end up meeting the community, meeting the different, the grading community, the actual community. So it's game stores at the convention. So it's such an important part is going to the actual conventions and talking to people face to face, shaking their hand and making that personal connection. So that's kind of how I ended up being graded by PSA and BGS.
Awesome. I think this is probably a good time to segue into something a little more comical. We talked about it.
Let's go for it.
So, all right. So let's preface this. I'm friends with Dr. Applesauce. I like the guy. I enjoy every time I get to hang out with them. And also at the same time, me and Opossum Bud don't have the greatest relationship. I've been on a stream with him. We were cordial. He's made videos about me in the past, coming at me. But that's his content. So I don't fault the guy. So with all that said, I'm able to laugh at myself when people like can call me on something or show me, and I think it's funny. And so this is not a shot at Dr. Applesauce. This is pretty funny, guys. If you didn't see, so Sam, take us through this contest or whatever, however it happened, where you could have your own card made. So what happened was Dr. Applesauce had a card made about himself, and him and Opossum have all kind of beef. And Opossum Butt actually got his hands on one of the graded cards of Dr. Applesauce and made a video on it. And I just thought it was hilarious. Like, again, I like Will and everything. So it's like, I don't like how Opossum goes after him. But this was pretty funny that he got his actual card before Will did. So take us through how this card was created, why it was created, and how all this happened, man.
Yeah. I do want to say I'm friends with, I'm not friends with everyone, but I'm friends with a lot of people. I'm friends with both Opossum and Will. So, I'm often caught in between, this in between the middle of the war. Two sides are shooting at each other, and I'm like, one, I'm friends with them. Two, it's over the Otherverse cards, which I'm the creator of. So I'm like in a sticky situation. But the thing is it's all in fun, really. I don't think anybody's really getting too butthurt. But yeah, so for set one, 30 people could create a card with us. You obviously would have to pay for the create a card product, where you and me and one of our artists work on a card with your ideas for the set. So you give us your ideas. Maybe you want to have a cool dragon. Maybe you want to have a magical warrior. Maybe you want to have yourself, or your some people actually had their dog that had passed away, even, or their cat, or an animal. We would kind of otherversify it, make it magical and mystical and fantasy. And then that card would make it into the set, and you would also get your one-of-one exclusive one-of-one gold foil textured version of it. So everyone that made a creative card for set one got the one-of-one. Everyone was mailed a card, including Dr. Applesauce, everyone. Then the card was also put in the set. Dr. Applesauce's card was not easy to pull from the set. And so I believe another community member managed to pull the card from the booster box. He graded it. He actually pulled two of them, I think. He graded 1 a 9 and graded 1 a 10. He sold the 9, and I think Dr. Applesauce wanted the 10. There was some miscommunication, we'll say. There was some back and forth. You can see more of that on the Opossum Bud video. Somehow, Opossum Bud managed to sneak in there, and he bought the card from the seller for, I think, $60 or something like that. The PSA 10 Dr. Applesauce. Only 100 of them exist. 75. I don't remember. Yeah, 75. I don't remember exactly what, the exact, So the PSA 10s, though, from set one, they can range from like $50 to $250 for like the secret rares. The one-of-ones have sold for around $1,000. Last year, the sample Dragon Queen one-of-one went to a YouTuber. I won't drop his name right now, but he has 13 million subscribers. He's our biggest collector, one of our biggest collectors. He has 13 million subscribers on YouTube, and he bought the one-of-one Dragon Queen for $20,000. And then he also bought the out of 18 sample versions. He has, I believe, 13 or 14 out of the 18 he was buying for around $2,000 to $3,000 each. And now he owns all of them, and he's never letting them go, as far as I know. He loves Dragon Queen. It's his. I have Spider Queen on my shirt, but I'll have to show you guys a picture of Dragon Queen later. So yeah, that was the back to the Opossum Bud stuff. Yeah, that was hilarious. What did you get from it, Alex? What was your takeaway?
I mean, like I said, so like again, I'm actually friends with Will. I've done content with him. I've hung out with him at shows. I like Will. So
Yeah,
I've never liked when Opossum comes at him for all these different
yeah,
things. Really attacks him kind of hard. But
yeah.
I just thought it was funny. Like I always put myself in the shoes. Like if this was me and I had a card made, and then a dude that I have beef with picked it up, I'd have to even laugh. So like it is funny that he somehow got his hands on his card. Like
they really are kind of enemies in the space, you know. And if we're talking, you know, not actual, you know, enemies in person, I would hope not, you know. But when it comes to the community, yeah, they really go at it. So yeah, I thought it was hilarious that Opossum, who's his enemy, sort of managed to get that card. You know, so Dr. Applesauce, he has the 1/1.
right.
And actually, he just didn't manage to get the lower rarity version. I actually saw him at the New Jersey Collecticon, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to be there. I knew he hadn't managed to pull it himself. So I had an extra copy that didn't make it into the print run. I brought it for him, and I gave it to him as well. I gave Will the card. You know, my goal is that anyone that collects Otherverse will be happy. You know, I don't want anyone to have beef with each other. I don't want anyone to really fight with each other. You know, ideally we all get along. We're all having fun, and we're all having a good time with Otherverse. Will, he's awesome, and he actually got on his left arm over here. He got an entire tattoo of the artwork for his creator card. So he has or maybe it's on his right arm. I don't remember, but he has a tattoo of the entire thing.
I'll have to ask him to see that. That's crazy. All right,
Crazy,
Sam. All right.
crazy.
All right, we got to ask you a difficult question. We got to put you on the spot. You ready? All right, so
I'm ready.
So obviously, a lot of the games that have had a good amount of success have either been like they're old, they've been around a long time, or they base them off like popular, already established IPs, like, you know, Star Wars, One Piece, things like that. So one of the big ones that obviously failed lately was MetaZoo. And, you know, they were trying to do a lot of the same things. It was grassroots marketing. It was, you know, they were thinking about going into anime, all that, like you are. Like, what differentiates Otherverse from MetaZoo?
Alex, I love that question. What differentiates Otherverse from MetaZoo? So Otherverse and MetaZoo, they have a lot in common, actually. Let me first touch, actually, even though MetaZoo is, you know, it's bankrupt, nobody likes it, nobody wants to touch it, I want to share what we have in common with MetaZoo, because it did kind of show, like, hey, you can do this if you can. If you can do it, you can do it. You know, if you can make a trading card game, it's possible. It's not impossible. The creator of MetaZoo, this is probably nobody wants to hear this, but he was actually, we're both from New York, from the same area, Long Island. But what really differentiates Otherverse from MetaZoo, and what differentiates Otherverse from other trading card games, first of all? One, it's the artwork. We're going to start what makes a trading card game good first, and then we'll go into what other marketing factors differentiates us. One,
and that was going to be my answer too. That was going to be my answer. It's kind of my reasoning of why I think modern Pokemon is so strong and vintage is struggling a lot. It's the same. That's the same reason I never got into MetaZoo. Like, I don't get it. And it's the same reason I'm not a huge fan of Lorcana. It's like, I don't, the card, when I look at your cards, right when I saw them, I'm like, that's something I want to collect. Like, everything about it, like the art, the texturing, like having the artist signatures. I love the serialized, like, you're doing it right. So like that, I agree. That's the biggest differentiating is just the art in general.
Thank you. I really appreciate all the kind words. And exactly. And I do want to also touch on modern Pokemon. Modern Pokemon's awesome. Modern Pokemon is awesome. I don't care who's saying print runs or this, print runs or that. They have no idea. In fact, nobody has any idea. And so as long as you love something, I would go for it. I would collect it. And the modern Pokemon cards, when you're in the moment, like when you're in the moment, meaning when you're in the year that they're coming out, when you're in this like 3 to 4 year span of time, you might not realize how incredibly beautiful the cards are because they're so readily available. But you know, and also because there's so much beautiful cards, it's almost like a dopamine overload. You don't know what to go after. You don't know what to collect. Once cards start becoming more scarce over time, and also good condition cards become more scarce, Pokemon cards get damaged very easily. Even in Scarlet and Violet era, you'll see that cards that are pack fresh or a week old in people's hands are damaged. It's hard to get PSA 10s. So I do really believe modern Pokemon is great, and it comes down to the artwork. It comes down to the beautiful artwork, with also being hard to pull. They are not easy to pull, and there's a lot of them to pull. Same thing with Otherverse. Full art cards, it's a different style, right? We're fantasy, dragons, there's a story as well. Full art cards, there was not a lot of full art cards back when I was starting Otherverse, actually. So that's one thing I said. I want full art cards of awesome dragons, of magical fire princesses, cosmic magicians. It didn't exist. Magic wasn't doing it. Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't doing it. Pokemon's doing Pokemon. So I was like, okay, nobody's going to do it. I'm not going to wait around. I have the background. I have the expertise. Let me do it. I want to say nobody in my family is in this area. Nobody is in marketing or artwork. Actually, everybody in my family is a doctor. From my brother, my mom, my uncles, my dad, everyone's a doctor except me. So I said, and that's not a bad thing. I went my own path. I did my own thing, the black sheep. But yeah, back to the difference of MetaZoo and Otherverse. The artwork is one. Two, I want to say is I do my best to keep my head on my shoulders, stay humble. And I'm not going and hiring a huge staff. And I'll straight compare us. MetaZoo did hire a massive staff right out the gate. They saw the success. Maybe they saw the money and they got hungry. Maybe they even got greedy. And they went from 2,500 print run, right, which is the same as Otherverse on the first set, to 10,000. Oh no, sorry, they didn't even 25,000, then 50,000, then 100,000. Yes, they were in Walmart. Yes, they did collabs with eBay. Excuse me, I had a burp. But it didn't turn into anything because the print runs were way too high. They ran way too fast before there was a real community. We have to remember, but people like collecting the cards. You said it. This is something I can collect. You have to be able to say that to yourself first. So if not enough people are saying that, then it's not going to happen. You need enough people saying, I want to collect this to increase the print run. So MetaZoo, they increased the print run way too fast. They kind of flew too close to the sun, like Icarus. So that's kind of what I'm not doing. I'm keeping the print run small. I'm keeping the collectability there. I'm keeping the high-end artwork. We spend about $1,000 for our high-end artworks. So we're putting in the money there to our artists. We love to support the artists. And I really take a lot of time finding really, really good artists that are really skilled, really high quality, and professionals at what they do. So all of those factors are what make Otherverse different than MetaZoo. Also, we're coming out with an anime that's actually an anime. These are actual anime characters. They look like an anime. They don't look like, they don't look like 90s. Again, not to talk bad about MetaZoo. They don't look like a 90s random cryptid that it might be a little harder to make an anime from that. From Otherverse, it's all already there. The characters are already there. The story's already there. I already have a written story. So it's already lends itself to making an anime. And I do want to also draw Sorry, Alex, I don't mean to go on too much. I'll let you ask.
Oh, no, you can continue. I just wanted to say, and this is just, being objective. Like, it's not just because, I met you and you're on here. I mean, that's the reason I never got into MetaZoo. I never got it. Like the cards never seemed cool to me. I never had any like initial like want for them. Then all of a sudden, like some were rare and some were worth a whole bunch of money. And I'm looking at them. I can barely tell the difference between one card and another, but someone's telling me it's worth way more. Like, well, then I saw your cards and it's like, you gave me a few to choose from. You said, hey, I want to give you a card. And I'm looking at all of them. I'm like, I want them all, man. And like, I had to choose one, but I wanted all of them. I already wanted to collect them. And it's just like, I love what you're doing with it. Like to me, I know we're talking about it compared to MetaZoo, but I think the closest like comparison to me would probably be like when Dragon Ball Super came out. Like, they had that awesome artwork, a good feel to it, modernized. Like, yours are more on that level. MetaZoo, like I don't know. I can't believe it got as popular as it did. And if that's any like portrayal of like where this could go, the future looks bright, man.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Alex, I also want to say I really appreciate you having me on. I feel very comfortable talking to you. I look forward to our relationship continuing and being positive. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super is awesome, by the way. Dragon Ball Super, when it first came out, the cards looked amazing. It was actually, I want to say, in a way, an inspiration to me because the cards looked amazing, but unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of they have a lot of characters, but not a lot of popular characters in Dragon Ball out of like the top 5 or top 10. And also the IP for Dragon Ball, the intellectual property rights, cannot be used by Bandai. They cannot purchase it. So what does that mean? They cannot do actual artwork for the Dragon Ball card game, including the new card game. They can't actually have an artist do artwork for the game. Unlike One Piece, the IP is licensed to Bandai, enabling them. That's how One Piece is doing actual artwork with artists because they have the IP license, whereas for Dragon Ball they didn't. That's just a little aside.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. So that's a very important thing. It's an important thing that I took into consideration was, Dragon Ball, the cards are awesome, the gold foiling, the texture. They can't actually do new artworks. They have to kind of take it from the anime. And it's unfortunate. If they could, the cards would be crazy, even more beautiful. One reason I believe One Piece is such a hot game, such a hot topic, of course, the anime is huge, but also the cards, to someone that likes One Piece, they're pretty, they're beautiful. And like you said, you saw Otherverse cards and you said, I think these cards are nice. On that note, Alex, I actually want to give you something. I have a gift here for you.
You've already given me so much, man. You don't got to do that.
Are you sure you don't want it?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I mean.
Okay, let me at least get the gift out, and then you can make a decision whether you want it or not. Again, I'll be shipping this out, of course, directly to you myself. Give me one moment here. It's off to the side.
Guys, leave a like in the chat for Sam. Like this is
Sorry, what was that?
Pretty cool having him on. I mean, it's not very often you get to talk to someone who's literally created TCG. Oh,
it's my honor to be here. So let me get this out for you. So I hear the police in the background. So I actually have. Here we go. Let me get this out here. All right. So this gift, I'm probably off screen right now, but.
No, I see you.
I wanted to gift you an uncut sheet set.
Dude. No. Oh, this is wild.
So I really felt you would like this with your appreciation of, trading cards, of course. I thought you would really like this uncut sheet of set 1 right here. Shows off all of the secret rare cards. Absolutely insane.
That is beautiful, man. Dude, I appreciate that. Absolutely, I'll accept that gift. The question is, what do I give you in return?
No, I don't ever want anything in return. It's my pleasure to give. Let me set this to the side. I'll wrap it back up later. So.
Oh yeah, I will have that framed and in the background. Absolutely.
So it's a yes to the uncut sheet.
Yes, sir.
Yes
If you're generous enough, I will gladly accept that, man. That's beautiful.
Yes, no, I would love to. I think it'd be awesome. It's beautiful in person, and it also that way you can look at the sheet and see what are the possible hits in set one as well. You could say, oh, these are the ones I like. This is what I'll chase after. If you're ever going after, but it'll give you a better sense of what's in the set at like
Absolutely.
a quick glance.
Hey, real quick. So someone in the chat was asking where to buy the boxes. I know some people were looking on eBay. I'm on otherversetcg.com. Is there a place to buy on there?
So again, set one sold out. So yeah, so we're not selling set one actually. Right, there's no product for sale right now. Set two though will be on the website. It'll be dropped on the website, on the shop of the website. And it'll be right there, 1,000, well, less than 1,000 booster boxes because of our distributors. But you can buy it directly off the shop towards the end of this month. We're going to drop the exact date about a week before. And it's going to be just like a drop, So it will most likely sell out in very quickly. I don't want to kind of count my eggs before they hatch. But things are looking very good. Things are looking great.
Yeah, so the Otherverse TCG, the Instagram shared in the top of the description if you guys want to follow, so you can keep up when things are released.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Instagram is the best place. I'm very active on there. I post, every week. We gain about 2,000 followers a month right now, which is pretty solid. Hopefully we hit around 20,000 by the end of the year. My goal is 20,000 by the end of this year, 50,000 by the end of next year, and 100,000 the year coming after that. Who knows? You never know where it'll be, but I do my best to make viral content on there. I have a vendor POV video of the New Jersey convention coming out. I think it's great.
So what's the actual set? People are asking about the set. Is it what set is the first set? What's it called? Is that Hidden Void?
Hidden Void, yes. Set one, Hidden Void, first edition. The best place to buy it right now would be on eBay, but I think there's less than 10 boxes left up on eBay right now. So once those go, it's on eBay there's just I think the last I watch it here and there. People have been grading a lot of the set now with PSA. So the set one with PSA. So that's with BGS as well. Some people have been grading. We have some metal cards. They've been grading with BGS. We actually have 3 black labels now in the community. 3 black labels. They're not easy to get. But we do have 3 black labels. But yeah, so to buy set one, we don't sell them ourselves anymore. We sold out, and we're not reprinting them. Yes, a trading card game. If there is demand to buy more of the product, if the second, they might say, hey, we're going to reprint this so we can kind of cash in on that. I'm not about that. If there's demand for a product and it sells out, that's a good thing. And I'll allow the community to, if they want to make some extra secondary market sales on that, that's all the more power to them. We won't be reprinting it just so we can make, some extra cash there. Because I really feel down the long road, down the long run, it does hurt the stability of the collectibility and investment potential of the product.
Now you said before, like there were booster boxes, and you also had on Kickstarter like collection boxes. Like, how many products are you planning on making? Is it going to be just a couple? Are you going to have like a few different?
That's a great question, Alex. So for our first set, we had booster boxes, 2,500 print run. Collector boxes, which had a 600 print run, they had God packs inside. God packs, you're guaranteed a serialized hit. So it's a lot of dopamine in those collector boxes. And they had a much reduced print run of 600. And then we had one super crazy item called a Pandora box, which only 330 were made. It has a metal I wish I had one here to show you. A metal gold Pandora coin numbered at 330, 5 God packs, and a PSA graded sample inside. I don't think any are left on the second day, and they all sold out from us. Those sold for around $450, $500. But for set number 2, we're actually completely scaling back. There's no collector boxes. There's no specialty product. There's no decks. There's no blisters. We have blisters for set 1 as well. There's nothing. There's just the booster box for set 2. And again, the reason behind that is to simplify things. We're going to simplify it down, break it down to the base foundation, the anatomy. No serialized cards. There's not a lot of hollows in a box. In set 1, you have 24 hollows with a chance of secret rares. Set 2, you're only getting 5 to 6 hollows out of 30 packs. Though the boxes are only $39, not only, but they're $39. So and you also have a chance to get gold signature texturized cards. It's really a chase set. But it allows me to do an analysis and do research on how is the product being consumed without serialized cards, with a lower print run, and with no collector products as well. So this is going to give me a good sense of what to do for set 3.
So, I mean, Sam, you had to be like somewhat of a collector yourself to like think of all this. Like, what did you kind of grow up collecting? What do you still collect of other TCGs?
I love it. I do, of course. You know, growing up, I collected Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and then as an adult, so this is actually crazy. As an adult, but I'll say 2 things. As an adult, I collected Dragon Ball, actually. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, I think that's it. A little bit of Weiss here and there, some anime games. This is before Otherverse. Otherverse had completely taken over my life. This was before I started Otherverse. And then, yeah, so I collected those, and they weren't really doing it for me, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't, I wanted things that weren't out there. I wanted full art dragons, secret rares, serialized cards, like sports. Sports does serialized. Trading cards did not do serialized at the time. And I wanted that. So that's how I ended up starting Otherverse. I do want to say we actually came out with the first ever serialized cards out of any trading card game in history, which I know it's hard to imagine. You know, Magic has the 1 of 1 ring now, as well as the out of 500s. Lorcana has an out of 500. One Piece has out of 499, out of 700. But Otherverse actually had 1 of 1s and out of 3s before those other games. And we were making a pretty loud, noise on the internet. Of course, eventually the other games would make it. Is it a coincidence, though, that as soon as Otherverse started making these serialized cards, all the other games followed suit? I don't want to say it's because of Otherverse. Those games are huge. Those IPs are massive. It's an interesting coincidence, though. The games have been out for a very long time. So, but what did that tell me? It kind of told me, okay, I was right making these serialized cards, because other massive IPs, other trading card games are doing the same now. So I collected all of those. Now I collect, I love Otherverse. I don't necessarily collect Otherverse, but I enjoy all of my own cards. I have been enjoying some Pokemon. I'll admit it. I will admit it. I've been enjoying some Pokemon. And to be specific, I've really been enjoying modern Pokemon. I don't collect like crazy, but when I go to the conventions, I take an hour or two to go around some booths, say hi to my vendor friends, and also pick up a card from each one of them. I love to support the community. That's where I met Alex. I was looking at a Pokemon card or something.
Yeah. I
think I had an Umbreon. So I really like the trainer galleries from Sword and Shield. I think those are beautiful. I've been enjoying those for a little bit of time. I saw they went up in price. And I've really been enjoying the the illustration rares in Scarlet and Violet. I think illustration rares and special illustration rares, but the illustration rares in Scarlet and Violet are insane. They're amazing. They don't have texture, but it's clear you don't need texture to make it as a card, kind of. You see the Eevee, you see the Tyranitar, the Groudon, but I love those illustration rares. I think they're awesome, and they kind of give light to Pokemon that wouldn't necessarily have a spotlight. Like there's an illustration rare in Obsidian Flames. There's a Gloom illustration rare. I think it's the cutest thing. Nobody likes Gloom, but I think the artwork's beautiful. Sure. And again, I don't want to get into too much investing talk, or I keep my eye on old markets. I find it very fascinating that these illustration rares that might sell for $3 or $4, for example, the Gloom, or maybe the Ninetales from Obsidian Flames, goes for maybe like $10. In a PSA 10, that $4 card, that Gloom, is selling for $150.
Yeah.
So that brings us back to the quality of Scarlet and Violet, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if you're able to do that. But it's hard to find good quality cards of modern Pokemon. But they're beautiful.
So I have a question for you. So you have a lot of connections. Like you don't have to like name names or name games, but obviously it sounds like from what you've said, you kind of keep an eye on the secondary markets. And it's always, a lot of people speculate that, oh, Pokemon doesn't care, Magic doesn't care about the secondary markets. They care about moving as much product as possible. They don't care about what they're valued at 3-4 years later because they're not selling them anymore. Mm-hmm. What's your kind of take on that? Like, with your relation to the secondary market and your product, and just like, have you talked to anyone that's, involved in any of these other games? Do they pay attention to secondary market pricing, or is it out of their minds? What do you think about all that?
So I can first start by saying what I feel, what I do for Otherverse. I care about the secondary market. I'm going to put that out there. Most games, most creators, it's a little taboo to say that, but I'm not afraid to say it. I do care because I care about how are my collectors doing, down the line. I don't want their cards, I don't want their collections to all of a sudden go to zero or drop in price, because that, devalues my relationship with them, and it destabilizes the confidence that the community has in Otherverse. So I do care. I care about, and I keep my finger on the pulse of the market, the Otherverse market, as well as other markets, because it does matter in the long term, and it matters really, how are these cards performing in 4 to 5 years, like you said. Yes, I'm not selling them, but if the cards are performing well, it helps build consumer confidence in future sets. If the cards are not performing well, then people might not want to engage with the next set. We see that happen in Magic, actually. Magic's great. Magic's doing great, but just, they have so many sets that it happens, People might not buy into every single set. Other games, I think that they really care a lot about selling as much product as possible. For me, I don't care about selling as much product as possible. That's not my goal. My goal is to create a stable, long-term trading card game with the community that we can all be a part of and grow together. I think games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Pokemon, they just want to sell as much as humanly possible. As much as the community will eat, they will feed. And in regards to the secondary, I don't think they care about the secondary. I don't think they really can control the secondary too much. Not that they should, but I don't really think they care about the secondary. Going back to first edition base set, Unlimited, 7 print runs of Unlimited, Legendary Collection, base set 2, they're already say we're down to print to meet the demand. But it's fine. In the long term, it's fine. The cards perform well. But for me, I don't know if that answered your question, but for me, I care about where the secondary market prices are. And I use that information to make better decisions going forward.
No, I mean, I think that's huge. I think anyone who collects or if they do invest in your product, I mean, I think that gives people huge amount of confidence knowing that, the person in control isn't going to print everything into the ground and continue to reprint things after values have risen up. Because, I mean, I think that's the biggest fear in any TCG or any collectible in general is once things start to get, valuable, they're just going to get reprinted because the game wants to make more money off it. So that's huge, man. That's like a huge benefit.
Alex, that blows my mind. Like, if a game gets popular and gets big, reprinting the cards that are doing well is the exact opposite of what I would do. How does that? It doesn't make any sense. Just print a new set, keep the hype going. If you print something that already is doing well, you're gonna hamper. You're gonna hamstring all of your collectors. Yeah, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. It wouldn't be. Yeah.
I mean, is anything going on in the world or market in general, like affecting any of your plans? Like, are you worried about any like the turmoil across the world, like the elections here? People saying that like things are starting to like stagnate or go down. Are you worried about the scanning technology out of PAX? Like, is any of that going into your decision making, or is it kind of business as usual?
So, I wouldn't say worry is the right word. I'm very involved in what's going on in the news, in geopolitical activity, in what's going on, internationally in multiple geographic regions, as well as what's going on here in the U.S. We just had last week one of our worst days in the stock market in years, and so what does that mean for Otherverse? What does that mean for the greater trading card game community? For prices of product? To be completely honest, and we have to remember as well that trading cards, they're a luxury good. They're a luxury good. We don't need trading cards in our lives. With that being said, I personally don't see it affecting Otherverse to such a great extent because we keep our print runs small, because our community is so tightly knit, and we're so close to each other, and the product ends up really doing very well. It ends up selling out. With set 2, our distributors and local game stores, they're already purchased more than enough, I would say, to kind of for the set to be good, for the set to be okay. So, and also it's important to remember these are short-term moves. The market goes down a little bit short term. It's going to go back up. These are only short-term moves that happen. The election, all these things. And also when these things happen, I see it's a great time, really, actually, because it's not like, the market went down. It's not like everyone just in the world just lost all their money. It's not like all the trading cards just went to zero. And so, but it feels like that. And if it feels like that, for the people, they can get them a little scared. On the other hand, it's a great buying opportunity, I would say, for others. It's a great time to go in, and it's a great time to continue doing what you love doing. Really, don't stop. And so I don't have any plans to stop Otherverse. Luckily, we have enough funding to go for the next couple sets. So, I'm blessed, really, to be able to do this. I'm blessed to be able to share what I love with the community. And hopefully, we all grow together that way. So to answer your question, no, I don't see it affecting Otherverse to such a great extent.
What about the scanning machines? Have you looked into all that stuff?
Oh yeah, the scanning, of course, yes. Okay, if you can ask me any question, I'm up on pretty much everything. The scanning machines, right? Imagine getting an Otherverse booster box, putting it through a CT scanner, and finding out, okay, this one has a Crystal Fang Ice Dragon. This one has this serialized card. I mean, at the moment, I'm not too worried about the CT scanners for Otherverse. For Pokemon, that's a different story. I mean, it's a huge story. It's a different story. But, at the current moment, I'm not too worried about it. I do my best. I do my best to think ahead. I do my best to kind of put myself in the future's shoes and say what's gonna be happening in the future. If we come out with a way to stop CT scanners from seeing what's in the pack, maybe it's a extra card in there that has some kind of special, metal, a thin layer of metal or something to block it, we'll definitely go that route. Right now, there's nothing I can do for set 1. There's nothing I can do for set 2. And the game isn't crazy big yet that people are CT scanning the boxes. So I think in the short term it'll be okay, personally.
Yeah. I have a video coming out soon too. Like I'm gonna break down everything, like, and show it's not even worth it most time anyway. Like basically,
It's not worth it.
These people that are trying to scan these boxes, all you're doing is still hoping you get a 10, because like a lot of times, even if you crack the sealed box, pull the card, it gets a 9, and then you sell off all the 35 other packs, you're still coming out like even or under. It's like, it's literally the same thing as just trying to buy a raw copy and try to grade it a 10. You're literally just making money off the 10 premium anyway, like knowing what's in the box. And I think that's what people don't realize as things age, is everyone just attaches a value of, oh, well, a box should only be worth as much as the cards you can pull. And it doesn't work that way. The boxes take on a value of their own.
Yeah, it's, definitely, you're so right. From the outside looking in, if you're not a collector, it's hard. If you're not a collector, let's put it at that. If you don't collect things, it's hard to understand, why does something have value? Oh, it's just pieces of paper. It's just plastic. It's just, last year it was worthless. Now this year it's worth 10,000. This doesn't make any sense. But that's if you're not a collector. But as we know, as collectors, whatever it is, it's in our blood. As a collector, something about collecting things. I've been collecting things since I was 2 years old. I would collect the wooden sticks on a walk with my parents. I would off the floor. I collected spoons. I collected anything. So it's hard to understand, okay, there's only 2,500 of these boxes made. I'm going to keep it sealed, and it's going to go up in value. It's going to be a collectible on its own. Forget the cards. I just like to have this box. So it's definitely hard for people to understand that. And then when you come into the money, when you're just thinking about money, like, oh, I can CT scan this box, I can get this Charizard, I can make this much money, I can grade it. That completely derails really what collecting is about. And then it just goes into the investment. We're just looking at it from an investment potential. And I'm going to be honest, when you just look at trading cards from an investment potential, it might work out here and there, but in the long term, it's not going to really, you need to look at it collecting and investing. So
yeah, no, I think that's the best way to put it. Like, I think it's just it's like ignorance. If it's people that think differently and they don't want to like see the things your way. Like, it's like these boxes like behind me. It's like, I want the box as my collectible. And so if someone said, hey, that could have been scanned, it might not have the Alakazam in your Fates Collide or the Mewtwo in your Breakthrough. It's like, that has no bearance on why I own the box. Like, I could care less if it has nothing in there. I just want the sealed mint box,
Yeah, that's what they don't get. The sealed mint box is the collectible item. It is
right.
The first, it is the OG item. On top of that, it being sealed and mint, it's, if they want to go and get the card to grade a PSA 10, think about, all right, this is when it'll change, Alex. Once we start grading boxes, then people will be able to have an even better sense of the value of a sealed box, because then they can say, oh, this box is a PSA 10. This box is a PSA 9. Okay, oh, the PSA 10 box has a Charizard in it, but it's a PSA 10 box. Let's not open it. So that,
I don't know, man. That sounded an awful lot like what's coming. Do you have some inside info? Is that coming?
I don't know. I don't have any insider information though. But yeah, once PSA starts doing that, it'll be a big change, and then it'll be more easily ascertainable the value of a sealed box. And,
hey, can you see this? Can you see the screen or no?
I actually can't. My
all right, don't worry. So I pulled up the question. iFOMO had a question. He said, if demand supersedes the supply for Otherverse at any given point in time, how would you release pressure off of the boiling point? So like if demand outweighed the supply, how would you handle that?
So going into set 2, we're already seeing that demand for set 2 will outweigh the limited supply of 1,000 boxes. With that being said, I do not have plans to reprint set 2. I want anybody that can get set 2 and is, whatever they do with it, if they're profitable, whatever you want to put it, great. Let that be. We're going to go into set 3. And the demand for set 2, it exceeded the supply. Set 3, we will slightly increase the supply of product. And we'll then re-gauge how is the demand there? How is the demand and supply? If 1,000 boxes sell out and we increase it to 2,000 boxes, if 2,000 boxes doesn't sell out, we're not gonna increase it again. If 2,000 boxes sell out like that, then we might have to kind of increase it again. Let me tell you, the goal is actually to get our print run to about 8,000 by set 5 by the end of next year. So set 2 and 3 will come out quickly at the end of this year. Set 4 in the beginning of next year. Set 5 at the end of next year. Set 2 is called Legendary Heroes. Set 3 is Chaos Ever After. One focuses on the main heroes and one on the main villains. But yeah, increased print runs to meet the demand at a slow pace. We're not looking to sprint. And the reason I bring the 8,000 print run is because once we get to about 8,000, we will go slightly through more US distribution channels. Right now, we distribute in France, Europe, Canada, but we don't actually distribute in the United States directly we do direct to stores, but not through like Alliance or Southern distribution because the print runs are so small. Once they get to about 8,000 to 10,000, then we'll be going through Southern distribution, most likely.
Wow.
But that won't be until the end of next year.
And so how did that decision get made? Did you just find out that, through your marketing, you had a lot of interest like overseas and in these other countries?
Oh, yes. So wait, how did what decision?
The decision to like sell, I guess, primarily in these other markets before the US.
Oh yeah. So I'm not necessarily saying like the other markets, I don't want to say I'm selling before the US. I do see where you're saying though, because they have distribution contracts and the US doesn't. The thing is, I don't necessarily I wouldn't be selling direct to I won't be selling direct to the other countries. I'll let the distribution handle that. We sell direct in the US though. So that's where that difference is. In the other countries, we got so much traction actually from those. We've had a few viral videos. The one recently did 20 million views, but we had a few other ones that hit like 1 million, 1.5 million, 500,000 views. Those brought in a ton of traction from Canada. One of our biggest Canadian, collectors and now a distributor came from those videos, from my Instagram videos. And the connection in France and Europe also, they saw those videos and then they hopped in. And now France specifically has been going crazy over Otherverse. I don't know if it's the dragons or the women or what it is, but they've eaten everything up that our distributor has gotten over there. So that's kind of, we have to constantly be gauging where the economic situation is, where the supply is, where the demand is, and shifting it for the next set. So there are a lot of moving parts to the trading card game between the distribution, the production, the art, the actual game, right? We didn't even talk about the game, right? Which plays like poker. The actual game, tournaments, marketing, anime, a comic book. So there's a lot of moving parts. I do my best to every single day make it happen for every single one.
Well, here we have to. We do have to hit that game aspect in a second. But man, like I just want to say for everyone like listening and watching this afterwards, few things. Sam is not sponsoring me or this video or anything. I don't own large amounts of Otherverse. I don't have any reason to say what I'm going to say, but I don't know, man. Coming to your booth, seeing all the cards, seeing everything, hearing the story, like when you even took me through the story behind like the storyline and anime more. Like, dude, I haven't been this excited like about a new TCG in a while. Like, I was happy when Dragon Ball Super came out. I liked those cards, but like Lorcana, it didn't really do it for me. And MetaZoo was I didn't even try MetaZoo. Like One Piece, I never was into One Piece, so like it's more popular for a lot of people that are like One Piece fans. Like this is like from knowing nothing about it, like looking at the cards, hearing the story, like hearing the characters it's based around, just like what you just said, how you're basing one set, the next set about all the heroes, then it's gonna be all the villains. It's like I don't know, man. I am super excited to see where this goes. I'm definitely gonna be keeping a close eye and definitely being collecting it, man.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Yeah, take us through the gameplay. It's like poker.
Yeah. So the gameplay is also important. I want to say when I think about things, like my brain thinks about like a lot of things. So that sounds weird, but it's thinking about all the different aspects coming into making a trading card game. And one of those is gameplay. And I said, let me make the gameplay a little different and a little more simple, where you're not getting energy or mana every turn. And instead, maybe the cards just kind of come out on their own. You play whichever you want, and you wager your life like poker. And each round, your monsters, your dragons, your heroes, they do battle with each other. And whoever wins that round takes all of the wagered life chips. You each start with 10 life, and you kind of go back and forth doing this war. You're like in a war pretty much. And each it's like a 3-versus-3 battle of your cards. Each round is a battle of the larger war, sort of. So it's kind of, let's say one guy plays like a hero deck, one plays like a villain deck. You're really reenacting the actual story of Otherverse, where you're wagering your life, you're putting your life out on the line, and if you win, you reap the rewards. If you lose, that's it. I do want to say I'm a big poker guy, so that's where that came in from. I'm also Persian, and Persians are huge into card games, poker. A lot of card games and that we actually play now in casinos originated in Persia, in Iran.
Really?
So whatever, it might be in my blood, but yeah, that's how kind of the gameplay got started. And there's no other game that actually used life chips or wagering life like that. So it kind of was its own new thing as well. So that's the gameplay.
Should we open some of these packs up you sent?
Oh yeah, let's what should we do? I don't actually have any loose packs with me right now. I'm not actually in the office. But rip some packs. Did you get those 2 packs that I had sent over?
So yeah, Hidden Void, 7 additional cards. It's the Kickstarter first edition. All right, man. I'm gonna do it. So
go for it. Easy to open, here. Made in the USA.
There's the cards.
The back.
That's the back. All right, guys, here we go. Boom. We got Alyssa.
I can't see the cards, so read them out to me, Alex.
All right, we got Alyssa, the Blessed Child.
Alicia, okay.
We got the Night Queen.
Night Queen.
The Death Queen. Uh-oh.
Oh, I love Death
Man,
Queen.
these are a little provocative, man.
Some of them can be, Alex. Some of them.
It's okay. I got 99% male viewership. It's okay.
All right, there we go.
Blood Queen.
Okay, come on.
Okay, here we go. What is it? This is all right. Flame Princess Dragon Unleashed.
Oh, hollow?
Yeah, this looks legit, man.
Let's go. Oh, give me one. I'm gonna come around so I can see this screen. I want to see what you.
Yeah, do it. So, yeah, it's R021.
Oh, that's a rare. Yeah, you got a regular rare there, Alex. Wow, that looks amazing in your hands. That looks amazing.
Okay, now we got the Elven Queen.
Okay.
And last but not least, the Corpse Queen. Zombies Unleashed. Dude, these are beautiful. All right, we got one more.
Thank you.
Go. One more try, guys. One more try.
One more. So, Alex, you can either, let me quickly tell you, you can either pull a secret rare from the packs, which is 1 in 3 to 4 packs, or a regular holographic rare. So
Dude, that
if you pull the
Dragon
regular
Queen card is
holographic rare,
looking. The Dragon Queen's looking fine.
let me come look. Hold on. I didn't realize you were opening it already.
Lovely lady, very blessed.
Wait. That Dragon Queen, the 1 of 1, sold for 20,000.
Gee, I believe it though. I believe it. I could see people wanting that card.
Yeah,
All right, we got Chaos Princess.
Yes.
The Hell Queen.
Hell Queen.
Goat. All right, we got the goat. The goat.
Yeah, the goat.
All right, here we go. This could be it.
Show us the secret. Is it a secret? Oh!
7 Deadly Sins,
yes,
baby.
Secret rare. 7.
Got ourselves
Sins.
a secret. Beautiful.
So 1 is the hollow pattern. Look at the hollow pattern.
Hold on. We got Chaos Reaper, and then we also got Ash and Lily, Lost Princess. That card looks beautiful too, man. All right, so let's look at this 7 Deadly Sins. All right, what am I looking for?
Yeah. So 1, you can also compare it to the other holo. Look at the holographic pattern on it. You're gonna see that the secret rare has like a shimmer, a shine to it. And then also on the bottom right-hand side of the card, it's going to either say R for rare or SR for secret rare. Or it'll be serialized as well.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, I have SR and R. Not serialized. Yep. Hey, man, these are beautiful.
Thank you.
So what are the odds on the pack or no?
Say that again?
I guess so. The odds aren't put on the pack. What are the odds of pulling secret rares?
Oh, the odds are actually on the booster box. They're right on the back of the booster box. It says here 7 cards per pack, 24 packs per box. Each pack contains a holographic card. In set 2, that will not be the case. 1 in 3 packs contain a secret rare, and hunt for serialized hits in every single box. Made in the USA. There you go. Nice.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fun.
So the secret rares, there's a lot of secret rares you can pull. We actually have the print run numbers on the secret rares. They're around 500 printed of each secret rare that made it into production. So the way we calculated that is how many packs that have secret rares, how many secret rares are there, and how many packs and boxes exist. And we, did the math, the division, and we came that about 500 exist of each secret rare.
That's not a lot.
No, it's not. It's not. That's why set 1 is really special in that way. Even the secret rares are very limited. The serialized cards don't even get me started. If you can find a serialized card, it's and you can get out of 100 all the way down to 1 of 1s, out of 5, out of 10 from the booster boxes themselves. But even the secret rares being out of 500, I think down the road, long term, we're going to see some starting to pop up as the main chases, and, they're going to have value to them. The regular holographic rares, we calculated about 1,300 printed of each. And if you were interested in the actual numbers of the non-holos, it's about 8,000. That's not as interesting, but it's a number.
I mean, dude, I don't know how anyone could look at these and not at least be interested or enticed a little bit. Like, dude, these are they're beautiful. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. It's just it's different than what you see out there right now in all these other card games.
Thank you, Alex. That's what I do. The main chase card, let me tell you, this dragon is the main chase. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
The Crystal Fang Ice Dragon.
All right.
So that card, when I say it's the main chase, it's very popular. Everyone loves pulling it. And it is also, I would say, one of the more, what's the word I'm thinking? One of the more liquid cards, right?
I have a question about that. So
what was that?
Here, I have a question about that. So,
yeah.
This is kind of like a lot of people's question too when it comes to, Pokemon or other games in general. What made that the most hit? Is it just everyone who opened, they just decided they liked that card? Was that pushed more? Like, why do you think that became the main chase?
Okay, that's such a good question.
Kind of like how Charizard became in Pokemon.
So it became a main chase all the way back in the sample set, where we printed 3 cards out of 15 in the sample. The sample set came out of actual packs. So you would open a sample pack, and it was loaded. They were loaded. But you could get an out of 15 Crystal Fang. So Crystal Fang, and then the 2 other cards, the Void Lotus and the Death Abysmal Doom, this card became the 3 main chases besides Dragon Queen and Flame Princess. So it's important to remember that every different collector collects different things. Some collect dragons, some collect the more, the
waifu,
those kind of characters, and some collect the cool magicians. The Crystal Fang, sadly, the artist is no longer with us. And it kind of started, everyone started going after it, this ice dragon, this cool ice dragon. And so once that hype started building with going after the ice dragon, everyone wanted the ice dragon. Almost all the other cards were left to the wayside just to go for the ice dragon. So
it just happened organically.
That's kind of how it was organic, all organic. Yeah.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's what a card game is about. It's about organic hype, organic traction, organic collecting. It's not necessarily about what's the hype on the market right now, what can be made money from. It's about really what do people like, what art is connecting with people, and what is feeling, I don't want to say feeling nostalgic, but something about the Otherverse cards, when I look at them, I think when other people look at them, it hits this weird nostalgia thing, like, oh, I've been meaning to find this Crystal Fang Ice Dragon. If you've never even heard of Otherverse, you've been looking for this Ice Dragon card, if that makes sense. Like, you don't realize you've been looking for it, but somewhere deep down, if you don't even know. Same with Dragon Queen. You've been looking for a Dragon Queen card. And then once you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is what I've been looking for. I don't know how to explain that kind of magic effect, but, I let the world do what the world does.
No, and I think it was smart, like the way you went with it, like you got to have the waifus. Like, anyone who is against that stuff, I get it, but man, every single card game that puts out waifu sets, they do extremely well. They're always some of the top hits in Pokemon. There are those collectors, and then like you said, like mages, magicians. I mean, those do well in every game, every card game, every video game. Like, people love that. Dragons always top of the top tier. Like, other things maybe like samurai type stuff. Like, there's just certain things that always attract people and want to be collected. So I mean, going with like magicians, waifus, and dragons and things like, it just makes so much sense, man.
It made sense to me. The hard part is coming up with an actual story, right? Anybody could just come out with random magicians, wife, blah, blah. It's having people connect to those characters at a higher level that matters. So people connecting to Dragon Queen or Kyo or Death, or hearing the story of how Death was transformed from a good girl into this demonic monster by Chaos Reaper. And now she's hell-bent on destroying the world, and her twin brother, is doing his best to stop her. Sadly, at the end of the first arc, she actually ends up killing her brother. So I don't know if you can use that word. She ends up ending her brother. And so there's a story there. There's a story that people can relate to these characters more than just being pretty artwork on a trading card. We all love collecting shiny cardboard, but it's that connection there that takes it to the next level. On that note, I really want to quickly say we're also talking with TCG Player right now to get set 1, set 2, and coming out with set 3 on the TCG Player website. So for people that do want to kind of quickly look up the market price of the cards, TCG Player. I know TCG Player is the easiest place to look up market price of cards besides eBay Last Sold. but not always eBay Last Sold has everything on there. So we're working with TCG Player to get the next set on there, as well as
That's huge. That's huge, man. Man,
it'll be big.
I mean, I know you're busy, dude. I appreciate you taking the time to come on today. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we ended things? Anything we didn't hit?
I think this was amazing. This is an amazing conversation. Whatever we hit was perfect. I'm sure there's more we could go on about, but I think this is a good stopping point. I'm sure your community this is a good place for them. And Alex, I had such an incredible time talking with you, connecting with you, and sharing Otherverse. Thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, stick around after the stream. I want to talk to you about something. Yeah, guys, we're gonna end it there. Appreciate everyone. So you can find Sam Otherverse TCG on Instagram. It's linked in the description. The website's otherversetcg.com. There's nothing for sale yet, but his new set, when it is released, you will be able to buy it on there. I think he said $39 a box. And yeah, man, it was a great time. So yeah, I guess reach out if you guys have any questions, and see you guys back here in the next one. See ya.